Hello friends, I welcome you to another edition of our newsletter. Friends, I want to talk to you today about the rising problem. It's an avalanche of disease issues that is facing our society. The four main killers in our community today are obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease and stroke, and lastly, cancers. I want to delve on the topic of cancers today. And the reason for this is, in the last 25 years that I've spent in medicine and surgery, I am convinced that the problem or the magnitude of the problem of cancers is increasing. Do you know, friends, that 1 in 3 men and 1 in 2 women are bound to be diagnosed with cancer of some sort in their lifetime? But it doesn't end there. What is more hurting is to see our kids, the next generation, suffering with this deadly disease. This disease brings so much suffering not only to the patients who experience it, but also to the near and dear ones, the families, friends, and the general community at large, with the impact it has when we lose the life. Friends, in 1920s, the cancer incidence was 10th common cause of death in kids. But you know, today, it is the number 1 cause of death in kids under 10 years of age, and it has overtaken trauma. Now, how painful is that? Let's go back and just think, what exactly is cancer? By the way, we might choose to believe in our medical knowledge that some viruses and some things may cause cancer. But the fact of the matter is that cancer is not generally infectious. To put it in very simple terms, cancer is nothing else but a lump or a bump, which has been formed by a group of cells that have become dysregulated and have gone haywire. They have broken away from the herd and have decided to do their own thing. And what they are doing is they are feeding on the body's nutrition, the energy stores, and are robbing the body of the vital nutrition. Hence, it leads to weight loss, poor immune system, and that's how the cancer grows. Now, one might choose to believe that this cancer is something that is incurable, or this cancer can only be treated with surgery, chemotherapy, or radiation therapy. But let's not forget that I, as a surgeon, can take away or cut out the cancer portion, but it is the soil that remains toxic. It is the soil in which the seeds of cancer is sprouting. Unless and until we address that soil, the cancer is going to just come back in one or the other shape or form. And my idea of today's newsletter is to focus on this aspect. See, our modern medicine has made amazing advances in the treatment of this deadly disease. But the fact of the matter is that the volume or the magnitude of the problem continues to increase. We are not winning this battle with the means and the tools that we have at hand. We need to look at the broader picture. We need to look at the individual as a whole. Chemotherapy is a toxic medication that will kill any cell that comes its way. Radiation therapy is basically gamma radiation that will burn any and every cell that comes in its way. Surgery is not without its own risks, but all these modalities have a role to play. What I'm trying to get at, friends, over here is, beyond these modalities of treatment, we need to take responsibility, and we need to understand that unless and until we focus on the soil, on the general biological being, and try and improve the quality of that soil, that cancer cell will never suppress. It will find another way of expressing itself. Let us take a step back and try and understand that this human body that you and I have been given is God's highest form of creation. As I said earlier, medicine has made tremendous advances. However, we still do not understand even 1/10 of how our body functions. The brain is an amazing switching station. It will make any supercomputer, any human supercomputer, look like a toy. The human heart pumps liters and liters of blood over a fraction of a second, and this blood very quickly delivers oxygen and all the nutrients to the cells, takes away all the toxic waste, and it just passes through to the lungs where the reverse happens. All of this happens in a fraction of a second. Friends, we might want to think that yes, we understand it all, but the fact of the matter is that we don't. We have the ability, the body has the ability to heal itself. Cancer was never a native disease to human beings. If you go back in history to the indigenous people or to the our forefathers, cancer was not that common. I still remember one of my mentors back in England quoting that when he was a medical student, a case of lung cancer first presented to his hospital. And at that stage, lung cancer wasn't heard of. Today, it is the #1 killer in the society. The point being here, friends, is that the toxic environment that we are in is causing the rise of this disease. And by toxic environment, may I say, it's not just the quality of air that we are breathing. It has to do with what we are putting in our mouth, our food, and very importantly, what we are putting in our mind. And by that, I refer specifically to stress. Friends, on that note, if I can say, the amount of processed foods we are eating and consuming these days has been correlated to a proportional rise of a variety of cancers and allergies and gut disorders. It is so important to understand that the amount of processing that undergoes to produce a kilogram of meat produces number of toxins in the whole process that is almost 100 times that is required to produce a plant-based food. A plant-based food is the way nature presented it to us, and that is now being considered to be the best form of nutrition that may be available to us. Now, this is a fairly vast topic, and it's hard for me to cover everything in this newsletter, but the point being that our nutrition has a very important role to play in our well-being. The father of medicine, Hippocrates, said, "Let food be your medicine, and let thy medicine be your food." Surely there must have been a reason for him to say that. And this is so very true. And that is what our modern research is telling us. The other important aspect that I wish to point out is the mental food or the mental diet that we give ourselves. Friends, in my routine practice, I come across a variety of people and I see variety of patients. But I feel very sorry to say that a majority of them come across with a lot of negative expectation, with a lot of negative, a lot of pessimism. Now, I wish to point out a beautiful paragraph that I read in this book by Raymond Holliwell called Working with the Law. Friends, Raymond Holliwell was a railway engineer. He was not a medical person. But the event that he experienced in his own life was so phenomenal that it inspired him to dedicate the rest of his life to the science of how our mind governs our physical being. And I wish to just read one paragraph from his book on the law of forgiveness. Raymond Holliwell says that a noted physician talking before a group of other medical men on this very subject of thought being the source of disease, was recorded as having said in his concluding remarks, "Abnormal tumors and cancers are due to a long period of suppressed grief and anxiety." Another way of saying that such diseases are due to a lot of sinful thoughts getting bottled up and suppressed within our mind. And this mental state is so very destroying. Friends, it is said that we don't die, we kill ourselves. And let me tell you that our mind governs and shapes not only the nature of our physical being as to how healthy we are, but also how healthy our relationships are, how healthy our finances are, and everything about our personality and our attitude. I would welcome you to join us for our forthcoming seminar, where the focus of this seminar is going to be how our mind power is so vital in understanding this deadly disease of cancer, and what are the methods and modalities we can put into place to achieve lasting health such that we all age gracefully and pain-free. Friends, my concluding remarks would be that we all have a finite number of days on this planet. I would pay anything to stay out of a hospital bed or a wheelchair, and I would sure you would all agree with me. But I want to also emphasize that it is up to us to choose what our destiny is going to be. And the moment to act is now. Once again, I thank you so much for taking out the time to listen to my video. I will urge you to click the link below and register your interest for our forthcoming seminar on this extremely vital topic. And I'm sure you'd be benefited immensely. I thank you so much once again for your time. Good luck and goodbye.